I believe sensationalism is where conversation comes to die, and I hate the fact that we are now having a race war over two wildly different things, I feel, and it feels absolutely psychotic, all because of donations given by both parties. I believe that is the only connecting factor between these two events outside of people turning this into an arbitrary, just gobbledygook about race. And I think that the reason I talked about race so much in my previous two videos about this subject was because everybody was talking about race. But I'd like to take that away for a moment and explain what I'm talking about. Let me give my opinion immediately about the Carmelo Anthony case so you don't misconstrue any words I'm about to say. I think you should not take someone's life. I know it sounds psychotic and crazy to say that right now. I think it is crazy because you are getting picked on to not settle it with your hands. I think that's psychotic to fatally wound somebody with the guise of the UK level of deterrent, because in the UK they use knives, whole thing. I think that's a little bit psychotic. I think that Carmelo Anthony, the boy in the case, should not get out of jail. That's what I believe. I lost my brother to gun violence by another black person, and I think that was horrifying. And that was insane. And the person never got caught. Austin Metcalf, I believe that was his name. Austin Metcalf was the boy who was his life was taken. He's a child. As a child, 17 years as a child, as a literal child. Horrifying. I think that was extremely extreme. I think self-defense is reasonable up to a certain point. I really do. I think if you go above and beyond self-defense to the taking of someone's life, that is where it becomes a little bit insane. I've seen people defending this for some odd reason. I don't agree. I don't know what to tell you. I genuinely don't agree. So there's that. I just want to get that out of the way before I continue. But I also would like to state that have black people been unfairly persecuted in this country? 100%. Have black people been wrongly convicted of crimes? 100%. I truly do believe that. I think there is a disproportionate amount of people in the justice system that have a unfair view of black people and treat them subhuman. I do agree with that. I believe they are influenced by either media or their own personal beliefs that comes with individualism, and sometimes you use your power because you're on a power trip as a judge or as an officer, and there are bad eggs in every group, is what I believe. So, we got that out the way, right? We grasp that the taking of a life is bad. We both agree. I'm happy we done that. Maybe you've seen a lot of extremist takes online, and you, for some reason, assume that I would agree that Carmelo Anthony deserves all the funding. No, I don't. I really don't. I don't agree with that. There's that. And I know a lot of people in the comments may are going to say at the current moment, oh, you're just a shill, you're a right wing, you're a grifter. Wrong. Again, because I also think that Shiloh Hendrix doesn't deserve near $1 million for saying a slur. They both can exist. They both are bad situations. They both are. This is insane that I have to pick a side on two wildly different situations. It is probably, and I hate to say this, the stupidest argument I've ever seen. And it's not. I keep seeing this rhetoric. This is payback for Carmelo. Sorry, kind of deserve racism. Not gonna lie. Get rid of your stupid Carmelo Anthony before you complain about this. In this video, I didn't mention the name Carmelo Anthony. I want to point that out. I didn't mention his name once. I want to keep it a stack with you. I genuinely did not. I've seen this on this video. Then I made another one where people were saying Carmelo used a knife, Shiloh used a word. Yeah. How are these two? I don't get it. I feel like I'm dumb. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. Both are stupid situations. One is the taking of a life, which is horrifying and evil. The other is a 5-year-old black kid taking something from a diaper bag. Children, if you've ever dealt with them, I have babysat countless times, and I worked with autistic kids for a large part of my life. Take things from other kids. That's what happens. Children, for the most part, are very selfish a large part of the time. They cry and scream, and it is your duty as a parent to do your best to deter that behavior, not with physical violence, but by kind words and correct guidance and good coping mechanisms to deal with the stress of being conscious and not understanding everything. That is what happens. And this lady went out of her way to go and harass a 5-year-old child and call him a name that was used to denounce his people. And I've heard people on this take say, oh, well, Shiloh Hendrix is the White Rosa Parks. Crazy statement. I've heard people say, we should be allowed to say the word. You are allowed to say the word. And you can say anything you want. The government's not going to punish you. Socially, you're going to get punished. People socially aren't going to like that. By any stretch of the word, you can say any sentence you want to. The government generally can't do anything unless it's a threat. But if a woman chases down a boy and causes him a slur, and he just calls him a slur over and over again, just countless times, over and over and over again, that's harassment too. That's harassment to that little boy. And that harassment was met with an insane backlash that has turned into a deep race issue because she said a racially motivated word. And you could argue and say, well, there's slurs for white people. Yes, there is. Pagan pastry, children of the chalk, opaque orphan. There's a lot of them. There's so many. Cum cricket. There's a lot of words in that variety. There's so many. Useless crayon, mayo monkey, mayo maggot, vanilla gorilla. There are. Those words are new age terms used in retaliation to the terms such as jungle bunny that was used back in the day. Jigaboo, those terms. Those are we're retaliating with retaliation. And I hate retaliation with retaliation. I do. I don't like fighting fire with fire. It burns down the entire forest is how I feel. I think it's psychotic to do so. But to compare these two situations, I think Karmelo Anthony does not deserve a GoFundMe. I don't. He took someone's life. I'm just going to keep it a stack with you. I think that's insane. I don't know how that got turned and swayed. I know the kid was getting bullied and people were saying he got bullied, so he deserves money for that. And I grasp that. I do. And I know bullying is a horrifying and prevalent issue. And I know that it is disproportionately reported in schools. And I think it is bad that bullying happens. However, the slaying of someone because of that, if you dealt with it by telling authority or telling your parents and getting resolved that way or that way, taking it into your own hands and boom, boom, UK style, taking somebody out of the server, doing that, that's psychotic. That just seems insane. I think that's bad, right? I think that GoFundMe was really a bad idea. I think that was a horrifying idea. I think that was sympathy garnering using race as a card. I think that was what happened. And I think with the Shiloh Hendrix thing, they're saying a single Caucasian woman. I don't know if she's single. I really don't. I didn't dig that deeply into it. I apologize. If she isn't single, I apologize to you, Shiloh. If you are in a relationship and I am not crediting the person you are with, I would like to apologize ahead of time. But I'm seeing a single Caucasian woman being martyred for saying a slur because people are wanting to say this word really bad. Really, really bad. The fetishization of saying the hard R. It feels inhuman to say. It feels very inhuman. If I could put a phrase to it, it feels very inhuman to want to say it this badly, to want to say it with an entire thing. And people often say I'm a professional victim. I'm not a professional victim. I think both situations are incredibly stupid. I think this whole thing is dumb. I think this is psychotic. I think this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I think this is ludicrous that such exorbitant amount of money is being just pushed and pitched throughout everything. I think it's dumb. I think it's insane. I think she's great. She's like $700,000, and she's gonna reach the $1 million mark. I want to point that out. She is going to reach she's gonna reach the $1 million mark. One of the donators, and I'm looking at this right now. One of the donators is called the $1 Million Word. All out of white guilt. I'm seeing this is what's happening over here. That's all I'm seeing. That's it. That's all I'm seeing is just people saying, I don't have to feel guilty about being white. I'm happy that you don't feel guilty about being white. Very happy about that. Very happy. I released a video yesterday talking about the whole thing. I think I made a 30-minute video talking about this whole situation yesterday. I did a whole deep dive. I'm happy that you don't feel guilty about being white. Good. Great. I'm happy you are happy to be white. That's great. You should be happy to be alive. You should be happy to be human. You should take pride in your culture. You should take pride in being American. You should take pride in being white. You should. I agree. I should take pride in being black. People take pride in being Asian. You should take pride in being what you are. It is important to be happy with the skin and cards you are dealt. It should be imperative to the human condition to be introspective and be happy to be here, because that is the point of being alive and existing. It is amazing to feel that feeling. It should be imperative to everything to feel that. It's important. It really is. It helps your brain. It helps you feel better about being alive. It helps you exist. And to be told countless over and over time, badgering that your existence in itself is a folly of the world must be annoying. And I grasp that. I really do. And so did my people back in the day. I don't experience it deeply that much now. I do experience it from time to time when I go out and people are angry at me and they say the worst thing they possibly can say to me, or even online in my Instagram DMs where they just call me a slur and things of that variety. I experience it in full effect because of my fame online. And most black people in America do, because they are 13% of the population. I apologize, 14% of the population, and white people are 75% of the population, and we are viewed as subhuman because we're responsible for 1,000,000% of the crime, apparently. And it feels disproportionate in most capacities. It really does. And it makes people feel like my people, the black people, are just violent by nature. This whole race war is the dumbest, stupidest shit I've ever seen. It's dumb. It's dumb. And yeah, you guys are retaliating with your wallet. You guys are doing what Nintendo fans have failed to do for eons. You guys are voting with your wallet. You guys are choosing Shiloh Hendrix and making her a millionaire. And great. Happy. You guys are doing great. I'm happy that she's getting money, I suppose. If this is your retaliation for Karmelo Anthony and the murder that happened, that genuine attack and assault and loss of a child's life, and this is how you respect Austin Metcalf's name, great. Great. I don't have any issues with it. I really don't. If this is your retaliation, if this is your battle, great. I really don't have a single gripe. I really don't. I'm not saying this as some metric of I'm gonna get you later by saying something. No, if this is your retaliation, by all means. If you think saying the N-word with a hard R is the same as losing a white life, then by all means, do that. I just want you to really think about what I just said. I'm just going to leave you with that. Think about that for a second. I want you to sit on that. If you think that, let's take race out of it. A student took the life of another student. Don't worry about race right now. A student took the life of another student. One student was getting bullied, and another student took the other student's life because he was getting bullied. But that self-defense went too far. And I agree that is bad. Same page. A woman, take race out of it, called a child a slur. A slur that has racial connotations I want to keep it a beam with him, keep it a stack. How are these similar? I don't know. And I feel like some psychopath in the comments is going to say, well, you got to understand the context behind everything. The racial tensions in America have been deep and powerful. I, as a white person, have felt with immeasurable pride that I have had my entire culture destroyed and stripped from me because of the oppressive nature that the media displays my culture and people and white people as destructive and evil. We have, in history, have built America to be the greatest thing of all time. We're just trying to make America great again. And you, as a professional victim, I can just see the comment in my brain because I've been messaged on Instagram countless times this same rhetoric of this. Argue with your daddy. Argue with the grandpappy. Don't argue with me. I'm not an extremist. I'm not arguing Karmelo did anything good. I'm not. There's no universe do I think Karmelo did a good thing. I don't. I really don't. I think he should have maybe fought the kid. Maybe not taking his life. You can't face reasonable punishment if you take someone's life, dude. Like if the person loses their life, the person that was bullying can't face reasonable punishment. That's horrifying. The loss of life is the ultimate loss. That's it. You're gone. That's it. I don't think murder is good in any way. Period. I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's a good thing to do. I don't think it's justified ever. I really don't. I don't. Well, what about the army? Shut the fuck up, please. I just think it's bad. I think it's insane to take someone's life. That's what I feel. I think it's crazy. Call me crazy. So, also the Shiloh Hendrix thing is stupid. I don't think she should be martyred for saying a slur. So, those are my opinions. That's all I got. Bye.
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laurel, breeze low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride.